Hey guys, it's Teddy Herzog. It's the final week of December 2022. Thought I'd give you a couple random musings about the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. Feels pretty good to be at the end of 2022. Actually, it's been pretty easy and good for me. I know for some people the last couple of years has maybe been a rough ride. Actually, the last couple of months been a time of personal introspection for me. But I'm up here because this is a sweet spot. I actually haven't been up on this garage. Right here on D Street and First Street. It's a pretty cool view up here. Carol and I have been in Petaluma about 7.5 years. So we're kind of still new in a way. And I know people have been here their whole lives. They've watched Petaluma change quite a bit. But the truth is, having lived here 7.5 years, I mean, I've watched Petaluma change quite a bit. It's actually fairly dramatic to think about some of the things that have been going on, that are going on, and as we move into the future. Sometimes, as you know, on a somewhat irregular basis, I like to write about or post a video about what's going on around town in terms of development projects, things that are being built, what's going on with land use planning, what's going on with transportation planning. So I try to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on around town, and once in a while I write about it on social media as well. And the very first video I made, 6-7 years ago, the title of it was P-Town is Boomtown. And I was just looking around, trying to find out what's going on around town, what development projects are coming up, what are some of the plans. And that video made it sound like a whole heck of a lot was about to explode in Petaluma. And actually, it has, and it still does. Houses are being built. People are moving in. Population continues to grow. The number of cars in the streets continues to grow. And Petaluma still is Boomtown. This is an amazing, magical place. I grew up in upstate New York on a defunct 160-acre dairy farm, and growing up in that kind of rural surrounding, I figured that's what I would always want, being out in the rural part of any place. But since moving to California as a youngster, I've learned that really what I like is pedestrian-oriented downtowns, and that's why Carol and I live in a pedestrian-oriented downtown. I don't know, what's it, 6 blocks from here. And that's the lifestyle I like. And thinking about all the changes and what's going on in Petaluma, I could talk about all the difficulties and the challenges and what's wrong and what's not working. There's a drought, and will there be a drought again still in 5 years? And there's traffic, and there's people moving in, it's getting crowded, and it's hard to drive around town, and blah, blah, blah. And as I like to say, everybody can tell you what's wrong and who's to blame, but maybe it's far less people who can actually articulate a positive vision for the future. And if I could, let me try to some little extent to articulate a positive vision from the future, not from some woo-woo wannabe, oh gee, I hope it's all magical, but just from what I've seen around town in my 7.5 years being here and watching and looking and trying to keep my fingers on the pulse a little bit. First thing I'll say is the last meeting of the city council happened, I think this last Monday, and the next meeting of the city council happens next year, January 9th, and there'll be a couple of new people on the council. The 2 new people on the council I don't even really know. Looking forward to meeting them. And then, of course, Kevin McDonald, who I know really well, is going to be mayor. And what I just want to say about the city council, I've never sat on it. I don't know if I ever will. It's a lot of friggin' work. I mean, have been, in my time here, there have been people on the city council that I've disagreed with substantially on land use planning issues and transportation issues. But there's not one person who has been on city council in my time that I don't take my hat off and say, wow, thank you for your contribution to the town and for your hard work and bringing your point of view and bringing people together. You don't get on city council unless you're some kind of, unless you're connected to a lot of people, unless you talk to a lot of people. So that's the first thing I'll say about what's working in Petaluma since I've been here. And then onto the topic of change, I'd say probably one of the biggest changes for me in Petaluma since I've been here is the sales tax. I think it was Measure U, and we decided we're gonna tax ourselves and make some kind of steady stream of income for the city to operate. And what that means is we've got a growing city staff since I've been here. I don't even know how many people have been hired, but I'll take hats off to city manager Peggy Flynn, and excuse me for all the other people whose names I won't mention, and many of whom I don't even know. There's just a growing city staff here, which means we can get things done in a professional manner instead of this being like a almost bankrupt town that can't get anything done, can't even fill a pothole in the street. We've gone from that in the last couple of years to a town that can get things done and is getting things done. And the quality of the people who are running our city, from what I see, it's tremendous what we've got going on down there. So my hat's off to city council, city staff. And in terms of my involvement with town goings on lately, I've been a little bit involved in Safe Streets Petaluma. Like, what can we do to make our streets safer? Not just for people driving around, but for people who want to walk around. Like me, I'm a big walker. And I also like to ride a bike. I wouldn't call myself a big biker, but I like to ride around town on a bicycle. And I would love for it to be safer and easier and more convenient and desirable to bicycle around town, not just on the Lynch Creek Trail, but from any destination to any other destination in Petaluma. Love to be able to ride my bike, have a safe place to lock it up, and be encouraged to ride my bike. What else do I want to say? Maybe that's all I want to say. I don't know. Right down here, this is huge. This is this winery that's going in down here. I remodel old houses, so I kind of have a professional's point of view. That's a lot of concrete. That's a massive pier and grade beam foundation that they've got going on there. I guess it's probably soft mud right on the side of the river. Anyways, I just pointed that out because I'm a guy who's always looking at construction projects and seeing what's going on around town. I guess I'll also mention behind me, you can't really see it, but the 180 unit North River apartments are almost done. And that's 180 units of housing that are going to be, I bet that thing is full 12 months from now, all those units. So that's 180 housing units full of new people, probably mostly new people moving to our town. Can't see it at all, but to the south on the river is the Riverfront project. A lot of new housing has gone in there. Some of that's already been bought and occupied. Some of it has yet to be occupied. They're still building some of those units. And I just mentioned that because from where I stand, it just kind of goes back to what I said. Petaluma is boomtown. A lot's been going on here since I've been here, and a lot continues to go on. People keep moving here, and I'm happy I'm here. Carol's happy she's here. We really scored. Get to live downtown. I get to walk around whenever I want, wherever I want. So that's my little message for the new year. Looking forward to seeing you in the new year. Looking forward to whatever all is going to happen in the new year. I'll see you then.